Okay, we'll try this again today. Okay, tomorrow's the assessment on linear equations. Okay, all these are lines that you're graphing. That's why it's called linear equations as standard. Now, there's three forms. It can be in slope-intercept form, it can be in standard form, or when there's a letter all by itself, it's in constant form. This one right here, you got y equals mx plus b. Okay, so that makes this slope-intercept form. So the slope, it's already a ratio, so negative 1 over 4. Now the negative is with the 1, it is not with the 4, okay? And the y-intercept, if you see a negative, it's with the top, not with the bottom. So 0 and then negative 5. So you go plot the point, negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then from that, I go down 1 because it's negative and 4 forward. So down, I'm going to repeat myself. The negative is just with the 1. It is not with the 4. So negative 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that's my line. Okay, next one. Now we have the x and y together on one side, so that means it's in standard form. It's a linear equation in standard form, so I make two coordinates. I put 0 and 0. So you have 2x plus 7y equals 14, and then write it again. So if x is 0, we can eliminate the 2x, and then I divide by 7, and 14 divided by 7 is 2, so the y-intercept's 2. If the y is 0, we get rid of that, and then we divide by 2, and then 14 divided by 2 is 7. So 0, 2, I go up 1, 2. And then 7, 0, you go forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right there. Okay, this arrows on both sides. Okay, next page. Y equals negative 4. This is constant form because there's only a y without an x. So constant form, I go with 3 coordinates. Make sure you're paying attention to what the letter is. It's y this time, so you put negative 4 in your y coordinates. And the x can be 1, 2, 3. So you go forward 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 2, negative 4, forward 2, down 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, negative 4, forward 1, 2, 3, down 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that line is constantly at negative 4. Okay, now we have an inequality. Okay, it means we have to do the true, false, and the highlighting to represent the solutions to the graph. Okay. So this is in standard form here because the x and y are together on one side. So again, we'll make the 2 coordinates. Now you're going to write the equation out twice, but when you do, I would just write the less than as just a regular equals. Because first you got to get the line, and the line means equals. So if x is 0, we delete 5x, and then we divide both sides by negative 3. 15 divided by negative 3 is negative 5, so that's your y-intercept. If y is 0, that goes away, and then 5 times x equals 15. I would hope you know that that's 3. Okay, so I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 3, 0, I go forward 1, 2, 3, and then stay right there. Now we're going to make this a full line because you have a line under your less than, so it's a full line. Okay, now I have to do the test. I didn't give myself very much room. I'm just going to do it on the graph, okay? So 0, 0. So I replace the x and the y both with 0. So we have 5 times 0 minus 3 times 0 is less than or equal to 15. Now 5 times 0 is 0. 3 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0, so I have 0 less than or equal to 15. Now that's true. Remember, the sign has to open towards the larger number. That's true. So we label that true, and we label that false. Highlight the true side. Okay, solving inequalities, and we represent that solution on a graph. Now, circle your x and its multiplying number or dividing number. In this case, it's multiplying number. Is that negative? No, this time it's not. So that sign's going to stay the same. So then we go add our 15 to both sides, and 73 plus 15 is 88. So you have 8 times x. Okay, and then divide by 8, and that's 11. So you got x and 11. So 11 is your critical number. Circle, don't color it in, and it goes that way. Remember, it's like a nose. The nose is looking that way, goes that way. Okay, the next one, you have to do the distribution first. Okay, so you're going to have 3 times x and 3 times 2. So that's going to be 3x minus 6 plus 5 less than or equal to 14. Now, here's my x multiplied by 3. So it's positive again, okay? So the sign will stay the same this time. Now, we need to combine these right here, okay? That's going to be negative 1. So it's going to be 3 times x minus 1 less than or equal to 14. Okay, then I can add the 1. That's 15. And then finally divide by 3. Again, the sign is not switching on either one of these because the multiplying number by the x was positive. So you have 5. Circle, don't fill it in. Greater than goes that way. Okay, solving an absolute value equation. Remember, there's 2 places you can have an absolute value, so that's why we have to make this 2-sided. So I put the expression x minus 3. Don't distribute. Now you have 2 operations here. You have a 5 in front and a plus 2. You have to get the plus 2 out of there first. So you're going to subtract 2. And that's 15. So we got 5 times the absolute value x minus 3 equals 15. Now I got 5 times, so now I divide by 5. Don't subtract that number there. That's a multiplier. You always divide by those. 15 divided by 5 is 3, so you could have 3 or negative 3. Then I add 3, I get 6. Then I add 3. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. Okay, rewrite the equation in slope-intercept form. Your job is to get the y by itself. So it's multiplied by 5. Now I got to get this 4x removed from this side. I got to take that to 0 by subtracting it. And then I would do it after the 20. Now you got 5 times y. Over on the other side, we need to rewrite that. We need to take negative 4x plus 20. And then divide by 5, divide by 5, divide by 5. Now the y will be by itself, but negative 4 divided by 5 is a decimal. If you divide and get a decimal, you need to just leave it in fraction form, negative 4/5 x. And then 20 divided by 5 will not be a decimal, so I'm going to write what that is. That's 4. So negative 4/5 x plus 4. Now it's in slope-intercept form. Okay, story problems. A pool has 750 gallons of water and is drained at a rate of 4 gallons per minute. Pool B has 200 gallons, but it's being filled at a rate of 5 gallons per minute. The draining and pumping stops when the pools have equal amounts of water. After how many minutes will the pools contain the same amount of water? We have 2 units, Okay, and I see the gallons per minute right there. Now there are B values, so we're going to want to organize our lines. So you got gallons and minutes. So minutes is X, gallons is Y. So per, gallons per minute. Okay, I see 4 gallons per minute, 4x, and then later on in the problem I have 5 gallons per minute, so that's 5x. Now one thing that's a little confusing here, this is drained at 4 gallons per minute, so we're going to make that negative. The other one's filled, so that would be positive. Okay, so I make my two lines, negative 4x, positive 5x, and I got b plus equals y equals y. Okay, before the draining of 4 gallons per minute, we had a B of 750. Okay, it's explicitly stated. Before going down by 5 gallons per minute, we had a B of 200, explicitly stated. Okay. Now, when we have two lines, we want to find out when the y values are the same. Don't write two separate equations. Start with your 750 minus 4x. And then instead of putting equals y, we go to the other line and go 200 plus 5x. So I have x's on opposite sides. Let's take the negative 4 to 0 by adding 4x. So that's going to give us 750. Then I'm going to do my x's. It's going to be 9x plus 200. Then I subtract 200. That's 550 equals 9x. And I divide by 9, and I got my answer. Okay, we're going to go with 61. Okay. No, that's kind of a high. So an hour and a minute. Okay. Number 10. An airplane is flying to put out a forest fire. It flies at a constant rate. After 3 minutes of flying, it's 140 miles from the fire. After 5 minutes of flying, it's 100 miles from the fire. Calculate the total time it takes the airplane to fly from its starting distance to its destination, meaning 0 miles. Okay, now there's 2 units, and we don't know the per. Okay, we don't have the rate of change, but we're going to need it because when I look at this table, 5 minutes is 100, 3, 140. So there's got to be a B, okay, somewhere up there. It's not going to go from 0 to 140 back to 100. So the B is stated. We have to find the B. So again, I go with my 3 boxes. And we have miles and minutes. Again, the time units are X, and then Y is the miles, so per. Miles per minute. We don't have that, so to find it, we need y minus y divided by x minus x. Now remember, y is the miles. Those have to go on top. The minutes go on the bottom. So the miles, okay, we have 140 and 100. Now with the 140 minutes, we have 3. 3 has to be placed directly below the 140 and then the 5 below the 100. So that gives me 40 divided by negative 2. 40 divided by negative 2 is negative 20x, okay? Now again, it makes sense why it's negative because what's happening to the miles? They're going down. So I proceed like normal. Okay, now the B value, don't have it, okay? So we got to do y equals m times x plus b. It's not either one of these. You can clearly see that. And we need the combo because we already have our m of negative 20. So combo. I'll go 3 minutes, 140 miles. You could pick the other one too. It doesn't matter. Okay, so minutes is x and miles is y. So 140 replaces the y, and then the minutes get multiplied by 3. So negative 20 times 3 is negative 60. Now, how do you take a negative 60 to 0? you would plus it. That's 200 equals B. Now I got this pretty well set. I have 200 miles to begin with, so that B up there is 200. You don't have to put it up here, but that's what we figured out. So we got 200 plus negative 20x or minus 20x, doesn't matter, equals y. And then I put 0 miles into the equation. That's why I put 0 miles, so you know that that 0 miles goes into the equation, and it's miles, so it goes in for y. So y becomes 0. 200 plus negative 20x equals 0. Now we have to get the x by itself. We need to subtract 200 from both sides. 0 minus 200 is negative 200. And now we can divide by the negative 20. Negative 200 divided by negative 20 is 10. So it takes 10 minutes to get to 0 miles. Okay, number 11 is an easy one. An internet repair service charges $60 for diagnosis. Diagnosis means they tell you what's wrong with it. And then if you want them to fix it, you got to pay $25 per hour for repair. How much will 4 hours cost? So again, I see the units there per, and there's a money before it, so I know there's a beginning value. So you got dollars and hours. The time unit's my x, and then y, and then per dollars per hour. Dollars per hour is 25x. B plus equals y. And we also have the b because we have 60. Okay, so the equation is 60 plus 25x equals y. Now 4 hours. 4 hours goes into the equation. Now which letter does it go in for? Well, that depends on what label I have as hours. Hours is x, so I replace the x with 4. And now I solve for the y, but it's pretty much already solved for. I just got to plug that expression into a calculator. 60 plus 25 times 4 is 160. So 160 equals y, so $160. Okay, number 12. I am able to write 7 assessment forms in 60 minutes. My assistant can write 10 forms in 80 minutes. How long will it take us to write 30 assessment forms working together? Now we got 60 minutes to do 7 forms, but if you work for 0 minutes, you're not going to get any forms done. That's the same for the other person. So I know there are 2 units, but I'm not going to make my line, okay? I'm going to use proportions. Proportions is 2 equal ratios. Now, set up your labels on the proportions. The time goes on the bottom. Minutes, minutes. The forms go on the top. Okay. Okay, so we are solving for the minutes. So I have to have x minutes and then 30 forms. Okay, we got 7 forms in 60 minutes, but then we have to add another ratio because somebody else can be working with me. They can do 10 forms in 80 minutes. Again, this double 0 up at the top means we use this method of proportions. Okay, I need to add 10/80ths plus 7/60ths. Yeah, well, where 10/80ths is 1/8, okay? It's not really going to matter. Okay, I got 29 over 120. And over here I have 30 over x. Now I cross multiply and I divide. So I take 120 times 30, divide by 29. And I'm going to put 124. It takes 124 minutes. Okay, number 13. The price of an item is put on sale for 25% off. The item is now cost $75. How much did it originally cost? So I have the original price multiplied by my percentage equals the new price. So my percentage, I take 100%, 25% off means I subtract it. That's going to be 0.75. Now, how much did it originally cost means I don't have the original. What I have is the n, 75. So to find x, I divide. I'm going to take 75 divided by 0.75, and that's 100. Now that makes sense because if you have $100, you take 25% off, you're taking $25 off, which immediately leaves you with 75. Okay, number 14. Two airplanes fly for the same amount of time. One plane travels 600 miles per hour while the other travels 900 miles per hour. The faster plane travels 1,700 miles further. Calculate the distance each plane has traveled. Okay, now this is, again, I'm not really thinking in terms of units here. I'm thinking in terms of distance, speed, time. So I go set up my box. It's not the 9 box. It's the one with 8. Okay, looks totally different. So put fast and slow. And then speed, distance, and time. Now my speeds in miles per hour, you got 600 and 900. These are planes, so yeah, they're going to fly fast. Okay, now the distance is unknown, but I know that one travels 1,700 miles further, so I go x plus 1,700 and x. So x plus 1,700 goes there, and then x goes here. Okay, now the time we don't have, so times, they're equal, but I need to make it a ratio as the distance divided by the speed. Okay, so the distance is x, the speed is 600. The distance is x plus 1,700, and the speed is 900. So I set these two ratios equal to form a proportion. Okay, and I go A, B, C, D. Okay, A is x, B is 900. C is x plus 1,700, and D is 600. Okay, so put ones in front, so we need to multiply here. That's 900x. And then I take 600 times each one of these. So 600 times 1x is 600x. 600 times 1,700 is, holy cow, 1,000, this is right, 1,020,000. So you go 102,000. Okay, so I subtract 600x, which takes me to 300x. And I got the whole 1,020,000. And then divide by 300. Divide by 300. And I divide by 300, I come up with 3,400. Okay, so that is one of them. Now the other one went 1,700 miles further, so you add 1,700, and that's 5,100. Okay, 15, I kind of pulled a cheap one on you. A test has 20 questions. It has true, false questions and multiple choice questions. True, false questions are worth 3 points each, while multiple choice questions are worth 11 points each. If the test is worth 100 points, how many of each type of question are on the test? So you can see the answers. Now here I have 3 units pointed out. So you're going to make your table. And you're going to have together, how many units, and then put the words per and total. You're not going to put a dollar sign above that, though, because you don't have money in the problem. So look, you got true, false, multiple choice. Okay, those kind of run together. So true, false, multiple choice. And then instead of dollars per and dollars total, we're going to go points per and points total. Okay, points total is 100. So we're equal to 100. Okay, let's jump to the top. Now, how many units? Now, these are both points related. This is not. So what value do I have that's not points? It wouldn't be that. It wouldn't be that. It'd be this. That's 20 questions. But that's together. And then we go x, y. Get that out. Remember, that's an equation up there. Now, what's the points for a true-false question? 3. Multiple choice is 11, so we have 3x, 11y. Now, when you have x and y, you have to set up your system of equations. You have x plus y equals 20, and 3x plus 11y equals 100. So I have a 3 here. I'll be multiplying the top by 3, the bottom by 1. So you got 3x plus 3y equals 60. And the bottom is 3x plus 11y equals 100. So negative, negative, negative. So I add, okay, remember you're always adding. You don't write 14. You're adding 3 to negative 11, which is negative 8y. Likewise on the bottom, you're taking 60, adding negative 100, negative 1, negative 40. Okay, then I divide both sides by negative 8, and negative 40 divided by negative 8 is 5. So the y value, the multiple choice, is 5. Now to get your true false, you could do one quick way. If not, you can use the standard way of plugging the 5 into that equation for y. So 1x plus 1y equals 20. But again, we have our answer for y. Okay, it's 5. So I find the product of 1 and 5, which ain't hard. It's 5. Then I subtract 5 from both sides. That's 15. Divided by 1 would still be 15. Okay, number 16. I worked 2 jobs. Last week, I worked 25 hours at Walmart and 30 hours at Fairway. I make $3.50 more per hour at Walmart than Fairway. If I made a total of $857.50, how much do I make per hour at each job? Again, you can see 3 units. So you got together, how many units per and total. Okay, this time, fortunately, we have dollars. Dollars is one of the units, so then we go dollars per, dollars total. Okay, and you got Walmart and Fairway. Okay, so the total was $857.50. How many units? So we got 25 hours at Walmart, okay? Remember, this has nothing to do with money. 30 hours at Fairway, so that's 55 hours total. He's a working machine, I guess. And then it says I make $3.50 more per hour at Walmart. I don't need to use Y, okay? I'll use X plus $3.50 and X. 2 unknowns where one's more than the other. That's the expressions you want to use. So you got to place that in the right. It says I make $3.50 more per hour at Walmart. So the Walmart is X plus $3.50 and the Fairway is X. So it's going to be 30X. And then we parenthesize that and distribute it. So 25 times X is 25X. 25 times 3.50 is going to be 87.5. Now here's my equals. The x's are on the same side. You don't get either one of them to 0. You combine them, okay? 20 plus 30, 25 plus 30 is 50. 55x plus 87.5 equals 857.50. Now I can solve. So 55x, 857.50 minus 87.5, $770, and then I will be dividing by 55. Okay, so the X is 14, so 14 at Fairway, and then Walmart I add on 350, that's 1750. Okay, last problem. A hotel offers 2 activity packages. One offers 3 hours of horseback riding and 2 hours of parasailing for $192. The second offers, sorry about the typo, 2 hours of horseback riding and 3 hours of parasailing for $213. How much does it cost per hour for each activity? So again, you got together. You have horseback riding. Or no, we'll set up the standard table first. Together, how many units per total? Fortunately, again, we got dollars total, and then dollars per, and then we'll go horseback and parasailing. Horseback, parasailing. Okay, what's your total money total? You have 2 of them. You have 192 and 213. So both those, you're going to have 2 equations down there. That means everywhere else has to have 2 things. How many units? Okay, horseback riding. Okay, I see 3, and then later on I see 2. How many units of parasailing? Okay, so again, cross out that 3 and that 2. I see 2 and I see 3. It's kind of weird like that. 5 and 5, although I don't use those. We'll put X's and Y's. So it's going to be 3X and 2X, 2Y, 3Y. So you got 3X plus 2Y equals 192. Then you have 2X plus 3Y equals 213. What the heck? I forgot to make my cross. Okay, sorry. 3X plus 2Y equals 192. 2, so you guys can see what I'm doing. I like to organize my work very neatly. So 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3. By the way, that's the same and that's the same, but that's X, that's Y. That don't count. Okay, so you got 6X plus 4Y, and then I take 192 times 2, 384. Then the bottom is 6X plus 9Y. Then 213 times 3 is 639. You're going to make them negative. And I add. 4 plus negative 9 is negative 5Y. And 384 plus negative 639 is negative 255. Then I divide by negative 5 on both sides of the equation. I got 51. Now that's my Y answer. That's your parasailing then. The parasailing's $51 per hour. Now the horseback riding, I'll take that right there. 3X plus 2Y equals 192. So I have my Y answer. And I put 51. 2 times 51 is 102. So you got 3X plus 102 equals 192. And then I subtract 102. That's going to be 90. So you got 3 times X equals 90. And then divide by 3. And you're there. You got 30.